So, this past Sunday we saw Gennady Golovkin beat Ryota Murata with a 9th round TKO and set up a potential third fight with Canelo Alvarez. Triple G improved to 42-1-1. The draw and the loss coming in those first two fights with Canelo Alvarez. So, how did Gennady Golovkin look on Saturday night? Well, his body looked great. Probably a little more muscular than I've ever seen him. So, in his body, he looked in great shape. But as the fight progressed, he looked tired. And his face had the look of an aging fighter. But how the hell he has constantly made middleweight for all these years is an astonishing feat. But it will take its toll sooner or later. Bernard Hopkins, in his reign at middleweight, watched his weight like a hawk daily and ran miles like a middle distance runner to make 160 pounds. Until it all got too much for him and he made that leap up to 175 and revitalised his career. He was a different person at 175. Now, Gennady, for all his conditions, seems more and more vulnerable to body shots, as Murata had some success with that over the first 4 rounds before GGG had a second wind and started to take over from the 5th and eventually turned the fight around. But having that vulnerability to body shots has always said to me, that's a sign of an aging fighter. That's a sign that your body just can't take it anymore. But during that fight, we saw again the evidence that GGG's chin is probably the best in boxing. And as they say, a fighter's power is the last thing to go. Yes, he looked like he lost a step at times. He looked slower. He looked exhausted at points in that fight. And over the years, he's taken a hell of a lot of punishment. And that will tell. You can only go to the well so many times. Now, Canelo Alvarez, his star is on the rise and he seemingly becomes a more complete fighter with every passing fight. He has a wonderful coaching team that devises a fight plan and he executes it down to the letter. He's a very intelligent fighter who lives the life. However, he does face a potential banana skin in his upcoming fight with light heavyweight champion Dimitri Bivol. If Bivol is in top form and he uses his superb control of distance, his superb range finding, it could well be a long night for Alvarez. But as we've seen over the past couple of years, Dimitri Bivol has slightly gone off the boil. He's not the wrecking machine, the powerhouse that he was when he first came to the USA. So we'll see what happens in that fight. I'll be doing a breakdown of Canelo versus Bivol in another video. But if Canelo does beat the Russian, it does set up a third match with Golovkin. As Bob Dylan once said, money doesn't talk, it swears, and it will be swearing profusely for this fight. Just take a look how much money those first 2 fights generated. But I believe an important factor in this fight is it will be at 168 pounds. Golovkin. Now, is his lack of form, losing a step, looking old at the fight, not the fighter he once was? Is that because he's had to continually boil down to 160 pounds? Will being at 168 pounds revitalise him? You might say 8 pounds, that's not much, but let me tell you, in boxing, it is. I'd like to see Golovkin take one warm-up fight before the Canelo fight at 168 pounds, just to get acclimatised to the weight. Now, I don't think that will happen. Canelo, on the other hand, has long been able to bounce around from weight category to weight category. Eventually, that will tell on your body. The old adage in boxing was, once you go up, you can't come down. But somehow, he manages to do it. Take a look at Canelo's body. He's a legitimate 175 pounder now. And on fight night with Golovkin, if, and I think it will happen, he will be the bigger and stronger man. So let's hope the fight doesn't go as I fear and Canelo comes out and pretty much overpowers Triple G. Let's say Triple G has a career Indian summer at 168 and he's back to the great fighter we know he is. So I see Triple G, like the second fight, fighting for the most part off the back foot. Golovkin using that jab, as they say, the most accurate in boxing the last time I looked. So Golovkin fighting off the back foot, popping out the jab and looking to set up hurtful counters. Remember, this fight will go at a tremendous pace. Can Triple G keep up the pace of this fight? Or will Canelo, like I said, overpower him? Canelo, if I was Canelo, I'd be the aggressor, but I'd take a long, hard look at Golovkin versus Devyachenko. And look at the way Devyachenko took away Triple G's jab, restricting Triple G's ability to get into range, to find his range, and to throw follow-up shots. So when we consider this fight, when we try and break it down, there are a lot of different factors we can bring in, and I hope I've covered some of them. Thank you for listening. Please take care, stay well, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.